Hey everyone, what's up? This is me, Lloyd, and I want to make a quick video here telling you 5 reasons why I think bulking is overrated. So, for those that don't know, I started working out a long time ago, and I started about 118, 120 pounds. I got up to 158 pounds, and then I kind of slacked a bit with exercising and such and dropped down to 136, and then I bulked back up to 171, and then I felt like I got too fat because my body fat percentage was 18%, maybe 20%. So then I got down to 164, added because I added some cardio in, and then I had some other issues go on, and now I'm back down to 136. Basically, it seems my body likes 135 to 140 pounds because when I started, I was 118, but I was like 18 years old. And then I got up to that maximum weight of 171. So I have a little bit of experience with bulking, I would say. And over the period of years, I would like to share at least 5 reasons, real quick. Maybe I'll come up with more later, that I think are reasons why bulking is overrated now. And in general, it's kind of not worth it worrying about it. So, number one is genetics. Your genetics play a big portion of the ability to how much mass you're going to get and how big you can get. So, with your genetics, you're kind of predisposed to how much muscle mass you can put on your body. So, if you're someone who's a smaller frame and doesn't have the best genetics, no matter how often you're doing bench press or incline bench or trying to make the best chest insertion points possible, genetically you've already got the insertion points on your chest, and you're not really going to be able to add like a new insertion point. You're just going to be able to build up whatever is there already. And so your genetics may already give you a great chest. That's why you see guys that don't really work out and they already have great chests, and you're like, wow, I do chest press or I do bench press a lot, and for some reason my chest doesn't look as good as theirs. And you ask them what their workout plan is, and they're like, oh, I don't work out, I just swim and do some push-ups. And you're like, that doesn't make sense. In your mind, that doesn't make sense, and that's because the genetics play a big factor. I don't know percentage wise, but if I had to guess, doing some bro science, I'd say like 60 to 70% of your results, a lot comes from genetics. And if you watch social media, then a lot of that is just going to be skewed because a lot of those people aren't natural. So a lot of people don't have any idea of what a natural looking body even looks like anymore. So that's why you got to go back to like the 1940s, 1950s, even earlier, to see what bodies looked like for men that were good genetics. And then you subtract that 30%, 40%, and say, what's 40% worse than that? Okay, that is what the average good conditioned body would be like. So that's number one, is genetics. So in my case, I have a smaller frame. Like my wrist is maybe 6.1 to 6.5, it really depends, but I'd say maybe 6.2 inches. So that is like small, medium frame, right? And so for me, I have a naturally lean physique. My body wants to stay 135 to 140. It's happy at that weight. And me, psychologically, since I had gotten heavier, I'm like, I need to keep pushing to get back to that heavy weight I was at. But it's not necessarily the best idea. And this leads me to number two. Number two is that bulking is not really that good for you. Long term, it's not really that good for you. Short term, sure, but over the long term, it's not really that good for you because there's several factors that kind of go into the other points, but just know, number two, that bulking is not really that healthy for you. Okay? And so then that leads into the next one, is why is it not healthy? And the reasons it's not healthy is because it can cause some health problems like increased blood pressure and harder issues on your joints and your body because you're carrying more weight. Those are just some examples I can think of off the top of my head. And even if you're not someone that has a predisposition to, blood pressure fluctuations due to weight, it doesn't really matter because it's still very likely that it can increase your blood pressure because you're gaining more weight. Your body has to work harder to get the blood flowing everywhere, and that will make your heart pump more, and that could increase your blood pressure. And also goes into the next thing, which is that you're going to have to eat a lot of food, and if you're bulking, a lot of food you're eating needs to be efficient and quick. And so that's going to increase your sodium intake. And if you're increasing your sodium intake, then most likely you're going to be increasing your blood pressure as a result. And I have like direct experience with that because when I bulked up, um, I think my blood pressure went up, just based on what I check. But after I cut weight and cut out a lot of the sodium, my blood pressure like is even better than it's ever been before. So a lot of it goes into the health concerns of bulking that people don't really want to talk about. If you're gaining 5 pounds, 6 pounds, 7 pounds, not a big deal. But if we're talking like 15, 20, 30 pounds, then at that point you got to ask yourself, why are you doing that? It's because long term, it's going to be frustrating and you can look at some health concerns from it as well. So number 3 is that it's frustrating because it's kind of a job in itself, bulking. Bulking requires you to, eat a lot of food. And when you're eating a lot of food, it takes a long time to cook all that food. And so when you're having to cook all that food, it's a little bit annoying, a little bit frustrating because you've got other things you would like to do, but you can't because you are cooking and you're preoccupied with all this food. And if you don't make healthy food, then you're going to be eating out, you're going to be getting Panda Express, you're going to be getting pizzas, you're going to be not necessarily full dirty bulking, but you're going to be dirty bulking like twice a week. You're going to be eating these processed deli meats that you think, hey, this is healthy. I'm making a turkey sandwich from the deli meat. This is healthy, right? Wrong. 1 ounce, 2 ounces of that processed deli meat has like 500 milligrams of sodium. You know how much you need in a day? 2,300 milligrams is what they recommend to keep you at sodium content for the day. And really, if you can eat less than that, that's even better. If you can do like 1,500, 1,800 milligrams, that's what is even better. And that's what I'm usually at. I'm usually at about 1,500 to 1,800 milligrams. But that's because I do all my meal prep and I don't eat processed food. And if I do, it's like once a week. And it's like a kid's meal version, like 1 taco or, 4 pieces or 6 pieces of chicken nuggets or something. And so that's why it's kind of like a job when you're bulking. So not really fun, not really that exciting. And so that was number 3, right? I think I'm doing this in one take. So number 4 is that it's just not sustainable because of all the other factors combined. So if it requires you to constantly be lifting weights all the time, eating a lot of food when you don't want to eat a lot of food, it becomes a job, it's frustrating, and so then it's not sustainable because you always have to be in a calorie surplus and you have to actually schedule your life around your bulking schedule. Which in your 20s, in your late teens, 20s, it ain't a big deal. But when you're in your 30s, it's like, kind of ask yourself, why am I bulking? What am I trying to gain out of this? If you're not needing to bulk, then just stay at a weight that works good for your body. And that's where the genetic part comes in too. For me, it's 135 to 140. My body just likes that. I could do 145, 150, but it's a little bit extra work, and I've been trying to do that, but I just get kind of satisfied eating at 2,300 calories a day, 2,400 calories a day. But I know that I need more to really get my weight up to the 150, because when I was bulking up to 171, I had my weight at that time, I was eating like 3,000 calories a day, which for people seems easy, but looking back at my sodium intake was like 3,800 milligrams a day. A lot of it was processed food a bit, but it's just a job. So it's not that fun and it's not sustainable overall. And that leads into number 5, which I guess is like, you gotta ask yourself, why are you doing it? What's the point? If you just wanna look good naked aesthetically, then that's actually a leaner physique. You don't need to be bulking. Nobody cares if you can squat 500 pounds or if you can bench 500 pounds, unless you're in a powerlifting competition, and that is like part of your identity. For me personally, there was a period of time in my life where I like wanted to get as big as I could. I wanted to get like 170 pounds, and I got that. And I realized, objectively, I don't really look that much different besides my quads are huge. I had 24-inch thighs, and now I have like 21-inch thighs. And my biceps were like 15, almost 16 inches, and now I've got 14-inch biceps. But my chest was only like 1 or 2 inches bigger. My waist was bigger because I had more fat on me. But besides my legs getting really big because I was squatting a lot, and my arms getting a little bit bigger because I had more fat on me, there really wasn't much look. My abs went away a bit more, so they weren't as visible. And so then I was like, what am I really pushing my body so hard for? Lifting all these heavy weights, you know, it's not quite as exciting as it used to be. And as you age, you start to realize that maybe it's not the best idea to just keep bulking and bulking and bulking. So, the key is you have to find the weight that works for you. If you're someone that's shorter and has a small frame, maybe 120 works for that person. If you're someone average size, maybe 150, 165. If you're a larger frame, I mean, I have a medium sized frame, I would say, like small, medium size, and yet my body wants to go towards 135, but that's because my genetics have a fast metabolism with that. And also, I've worked out for a long time. My body fat's like 9 to 10% last I checked with calipers, which aren't exactly perfectly accurate, but they do some help a bit. So, what I'm saying is that there's really no need in today's world to be bulking. If you want to gain 5 pounds, sure, you can do that in 2 months. But beyond that, 10 pounds is like the max. There's no need to go beyond 10 pounds of gaining weight. And 10 pounds you could do in probably 6 months or less if you do 2 pounds a month, 2 to 4 pounds a month. And beyond that, there's no need because it's frustrating, it's not sustainable, and you get to a point where you're trying to say, what am I doing this all for? Unless I'm needing to get huge up on the bodybuilding stage and show off and make it a career, there's no point because it feels like a job at some point and that's not fun. So hopefully this video made some sense. I just did it in one take and I just wanted to give you some reasons off the top of my head, that at least 5 important reasons that I think bulking is overrated. So hope you guys liked the video. Leave a thumbs up if you did and some comments, and I'll try to make more videos as I can. Record this on my phone. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.